know, like there's a lot of mystery and uncertainty, and I cannot stand this. Okay, hello my lovelies and welcome to another video. Totally different background, right? You have already spotted that. That's because we're already on holidays. So I'm filming this video, you're gonna watch it tomorrow. It's a very impromptu, like last minute decided to film this, and the next two videos are going to be from home, are going to be, I did like lots of shopping at Gucci, Tiffany, Miu Miu. And also I did packing for holidays, preparation, sorting out everything with you. So you will watch those videos, like next two videos. But I wanted to first sit down and chat with you because I feel like we haven't actually spoken like this since last time that I feel like I've done a Q&A. I literally don't remember when it was. I do not remember. At one point, like I wanted to do, so I feel like it's been months and months, kind of solving your dilemmas, like another one of those. But then I was like, maybe we should still do it towards the end of August. Let me know what you think about it. Should we do another one of those? I've done two of those that you can see here on the screen already. I thought they were lots of fun. You guys seem to like them. They're a little bit different because, as I've recently told you guys, I don't want this platform to be just like shopping and just, you know, very mono. I know that a lot of my audience, like a huge part of my audience, really enjoys unboxings and hauls, and that's amazing. It's more than fine, right? But then there's this huge other part that really loves kind of to hear my thoughts on things, unpopular opinions, popular opinions, in general, 360 part, like random thoughts. Don't I have like lots of random thoughts? I think I have a lot of random thoughts. Then like those unboxing fans, they comment like, I'm sorry, this video was just like a lot of random thoughts. I know, but I cannot please everybody. Unless you're one of those people that enjoys equally unboxings and random thoughts, let me know. And like travel vlogs and daily vlogs and beauty vlogs and whatnot, let me know. But anyway, I try to incorporate a bit of everything to this channel to make it more of a 360 platform. And also because like I understand that sometimes my lifestyle is not fully relatable to most people, but I think that my life and my thoughts and some of the things that I've been through are very relatable, because literally just like anybody else, I've been through heartbreaks, I've been through failures, I've been through difficult times, I've been through great times, I've been through, you know, strange thoughts like that happen as a result of strange circumstances. I've been through, you know, like I don't know, like friendship breakups, can you call them that way? I've had like fair share of situations in my life, and I feel like it's been because I really put myself out there. And in today's video I wanted to answer a lot of your questions, especially the ones that I felt like were a little bit more controversial that I've been receiving lately, and some of the unpopular opinions. So we might agree to disagree a lot as a consequence of this video, and I know that very often these type of videos, when I do them, I get so many critics and so many negative comments because people just don't want to accept that somebody else could have a different opinion, but they just want to try and convince me differently. I'm not trying to convince you anything. I'm just trying to share my opinions with internet, because I think that by sharing opinions and by understanding that people are different, we can become better people by becoming more tolerant, and by trying to broaden our minds by understanding that somebody else can also think differently. That's that. I've actually learned this when I was 17 years old, because I was a part of a big like debate group when we learned that you can also have different opinions to different people, and that's okay. Also telling you this about your family members, about your friends, and about people that you encounter every single day. They can have different opinions. It's all good. We can all agree to disagree. So without further ado, let's start with the first question, shall we call it that way? So I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram. If not, you should. I mean, it's not that hard and it's free of charge, and literally it's just like you click one button and that's it. But I have done Q&A from the beach side, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it because I really enjoy connecting with you guys more and answering some of your questions. I've answered a lot of questions about like, I don't know, heartbreak, different kind of career points, different kind of like personal life points. And one of the questions that really I think has triggered a lot of answers in my DMs, and people were agreeing, disagreeing, etc., was, should a man or woman earn more in a relationship? Yep, I think this is a very popular question on social media as well, and I have my answer, I have my opinion, and I'm a 34-year-old woman and I have been through fair share of relationships. I've been in relationships where I earned more, and I've been in relationships where my partner earned more, of various different ones. That experience has helped me form an opinion, because I honestly think that people online preach so much. And if you open TikTok or if you open YouTube, there's so much preaching from people saying like men should always earn more and that's it. Men should be the provider and that's it. However, they don't always have the experience, not the wide experience. And like I said, I've had more. And from both of those experiences, I formed my opinion, which I will tell you at the end. But before we get into my exact opinion, I wanted to say that I think that the society, TikTok, YouTube, internet, me, your parents, your friends, nobody should tell you what a relationship should look like. Nobody should tell you who should be earning more in the relationship, who should be working more in the relationship, who should be cooking in the relationship, who should be cleaning in the relationship, how many times, I don't know, a day, a week, whatever, you should be intimate a week. Nobody should be telling you any of this, because each relationship is individual and only you know what is enough for you for your happiness. So if you're in a relationship with a man that is earning more and that makes you happy, that's great. But if you're in a relationship with a man that makes more and that makes you feel uncomfortable, how could that be good? A lot of women do feel uncomfortable with a man earning more. Like, because I personally, I need my 100% independence. I need my independence to, when I'm unhappy in a relationship, I can say, I'm leaving. And if someone's paying for my rent and my car and my lifestyle and everything else, that can be very hard. So a lot of women are comfortable making more money than their partner in a relationship, but a lot of women are very uncomfortable if they're making more because they feel like they're taken for a ride. So what really matters is that you ask yourself what you want, and then when you go to what you want and you find what you want, you then assess the situation if that's really what you want. You know what I mean? So I think that's the bottom line. It does not matter what I say, because what matters is what you want. My personal thing is that I always say this, that from what I've learned over the years, I would rather be with a man that has 10 euros, but from those 10 he would be willing to give me 9, than with a man who has 100 but will give me 2. Why? Because some men, no matter how wealthy they are, they're so stingy and it doesn't really matter. It's just like, I don't need anything from them. I think we can all agree that I earn my own money, I work very hard, and I have what I need. But it's just like the givingness of the person, the generosity of the person. If they're generous with the money, they're also generous with the feelings, with their time, with the little things that they do for you. If they're stingy with money, they're stingy with everything. With their feelings, with their love, with their time, with their space in the bed, with literally anything and everything that you can imagine. And that is my rule. I have been in relationships where I made significantly more before, like right before this relationship, and it was awful experience because I was really intimidating the man that I was with, because like he didn't feel well in that relationship. But you know, sometimes else I was in a relationship where a man was making more, and I realized, okay, what's really important for me is the independence, is that we both have our thing. And I realized that for me it's just important that a man has the provider mentality. I'm now in a relationship with a man that would give me anything and everything, and that is always fighting for me, and it really cares about me being happy with myself and is not intimidated by my success. If like my business and my job is also very, like, it varies, like it can vary from like, I don't know, like I'm doing really well right now, what's going to happen in the future. So it's very important for me also to have a stable man with like a good income that can follow my lifestyle, but also is not actually intimidated by the fact that I am independent and I am doing well. I think that some men are intimidated even if a woman is making a little bit of money, just a little bit, because they're like, I don't want you to make any money. And for me, this wouldn't work, you know, like this just wouldn't work. Like I need a confident man and a generous man with every aspect of his life, and that wants to give me, it doesn't matter, like I told you, like, you know, the one man could have 10 euros in his pocket, the other one has 100, he's still, the 10 euro one is willing to give more than the one that has 100. So, you know, I think it's a very, very important topic. The bottom line is that women should be independent, because if she's unhappy, she needs to have the freedom to leave. And I think it's the same for the man. Like, everybody should have the freedom to leave, because if you are in a golden cage where you're not able to leave, if you're unhappy, this is just... But again, maybe some people like it. That's why I'm saying don't listen to society. Don't listen to what other people say. Don't listen to anything. Yes, maybe some people like to be in a golden cage and to not be able to leave, even if they're unhappy and miserable. I know it's strange, but it's important to understand that we're all different, and that no matter what, people can choose and need to be able to choose, and there's no need to judge. Like, I have friends who are in different like financial system relationships than me, and they're happy as it is. I maybe wouldn't be happy as it is, but they are happy as it is. So why would I judge them? Because if they're happy, that's all that actually matters. And that's what I advise you to always just like look at your own thing, then don't judge other people. They can do whatever they want, and don't listen to the society pressure that is telling you that you need to live a certain way, because all that matters is that you're happy, and society confirmations are making sure that you're miserable. So choose the right path. That's my unpopular opinion on this topic. So I think I'm gonna kind of slowly go lean on this topic, because it's something that I really, really, really wanted to discuss. And it's about women, or a woman, approaching a man first. This was actually a topic or a question or a debate that kind of came from Filippo and my love story about how I moved to Paris. So I received comments under that video. If you go back to that video, you will see that a lot of girls were shocked that I was the one who, first of all, on the first date, I told Filippo, I like you. I was the first one who said it. And second of all, when I came to Paris for 7 days, on the day 7, I asked Filippo, but aren't you gonna ask me to stay? And he was like, I mean, I think he exaggerated the story a little bit, because he's a very talented storyteller. But the point is, I asked him, aren't you gonna ask me to stay? And he was like, I mean, I had a great time. You can stay if you want, but you know, it should be your decision. And I kind of understood that he didn't want to take the responsibility for me staying by asking me to stay, but I also understood that he was happy to go back to his like pre-caveman life without any women around, right? So I said to him, well, I'm gonna stay. I decided I'm gonna stay, right? So I stayed in Paris and I never left. It's like the ultimate iconic story, and we love to tell this story all the time to our friends. Everybody knows the story. Anyway, it is a little bit exaggerated, right? He was the one who was like calling me every single day, who was like texting me every single day. He was giving me so much love, so much time, so much attention. He was taking care of me like incredibly well, I have to say. Like, when I arrived in Paris, there were like flowers and gifts and attention, and he booked everything for us, and he really put so much effort for me to have the best, most incredible time. But I chose him. I understood that he was the man that I really wanted, and I was not ashamed or afraid to admit that. So on the first date, I told him, I like you, and I am very proud of that, because I think that, again, in the 30 previous years of my life, I have been chosen by men. I also sometimes was like picking kind of man that I like, but in the end, when you think about it, if you never make a first move, and if you're never the one that approaches the man, you can only choose from the pool of men that want you, right? So you have all men in the world, then you have men that want you, and then you can only choose from this pool if you're never the one making the first move. I don't want to choose from this pool that wants me and limit my selection. I want to choose from the whole pool of men, also from the ones that don't want me, so that if I ask him, listen, I like you, and he's like, I don't like you, that's okay, that's no problem. You don't like me, okay, I like you, you don't like me, so it's not gonna work out. Thank you so much, don't waste my time. I'm not gonna wait for you to call me. I'm not gonna be like sitting at home being like, does he like me, does he not like me? I ask straight, like there's no games, okay? And equally so, on the last day of the 7 days, I was like, aren't you gonna ask me to stay? And he was like, I mean, you know, like, if you want, you stay. If he said, no, listen, I don't think you should stay, of course I wouldn't have stayed. I'd be like, okay, thank you very much. This man is not interested. He didn't like the 7 days that we spent together. It was not for him. No hard feelings. But am I gonna spend next months waiting for a call, waiting for a text, thinking, when am I gonna see him? What are the restrictions gonna be for travel, because it was 2020? Am I gonna need like a document to travel to France? Is he gonna need a document to travel to London? Prolonging all of this agony to find after years that maybe we're not one for another. I was like, no. And you know what? I'm confident enough to know that if he says no, there's no problem with that. am I gonna survive? Yeah. And I want to know right away. If he says no, I want to know right away. I don't want to wait a year and a half for him to tell me, you know what, I think I'm not ready for commitment. So when he said, you know what, you can stay if you want, I was like, well, I'm staying. And in 7 days, we could have discovered that maybe I don't want to stay, that maybe I don't like him, maybe he doesn't like me. But everything is a bit accelerated, you know, there's no forcing it because he didn't say no. But I want to understand, are we for one another or are we not? Because I chose him. I already knew that I chose him, and I wanted to see if he's also willing to accept me, to take me. So turned out that it was the best decision ever, because for sure, should I have left, I don't know if we would have, maybe we would have worked out anyway, but slower. Now, you know, I can say that we've lived together for more than 3 years and we're engaged, and you know, I've never been more in love in my life, and I can guarantee that it's same on his side, because I know how he treats me and how dedicated he is to me, which is very important to me. So overall, I am telling all of you, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, don't just wait to be chosen by someone, but like choose, have enough confidence. Also, if someone rejects you, you're not gonna die. It's not the end of the world. You will live. And I think like what confidence is, actually, that this is something that I speak a lot with my life coach, because she tells me that like I have a lot of confidence, but confidence is not knowing I'm not gonna fail. Confidence is knowing that if I fail, I'll be okay. So she tells me like, you know, when you enter the red carpet and you're confident, it's not about knowing it will be a huge success. It's about knowing that if I fall, I'll be okay. I'll work it. I'll survive. If I tell a man I like you, I know that I will survive even the fact if he tells me I don't like you. It's okay. I've been there before. 1,000 times it happened to me that I like a guy that doesn't like me back. Yeah, especially when I was a teenager. It's okay. We all go through it. And you just develop more confidence by being honest and truthful. So that's my unpopular opinion on women approaching men. And I really wanted to say that. I really hope that I can inspire some women around the world that are not gonna be like, honestly, do you know what my most hated, most hated thing is? When, especially back in the days, he liked my status on Facebook. Do you think he likes me? Or he liked my picture but he didn't like the second one, but do you think it's a game? But I can't. Just go there. Just say it. Like, listen, I like you. Do you like me? Can we make this happen? We can't make this happen. Never mind. I don't have time for any kind of weird games. Like the amount of games that I've had through my girlfriends that guys can play. Like, ask them out on a date, and then on a date tell them like, oh, I like your friend. Like another, like a random girl, you know? It's like, what? I thought we were on a date. You know, like there's a lot of mystery and uncertainty, and cannot. I cannot stand this. Okay, anyway, next up, I just spoken about my life coach. You guys know that I feel like I work in an industry that can be like, I constantly work with people. I don't know, I think there's nothing worse than working with people, because it can be tough. Okay, there's a lot of different personalities, there's a lot of different people, there's a lot of games and mind games and things that people say but they don't mean, and we're all been raised by our parents differently, we have different standards, a lot of different things. Okay, so thoughts on therapy, life coaching, etc. I thought it was very important I share with you. Okay, my battery is saying that it's gonna die, so at some point it's gonna die, but I have the spare one. I think so. Okay, hold on, I'll stop it now. Okay, continuing the program with a full battery. I'm so proud of myself that I actually had another battery fully charged. So we're talking about life coach and therapy. I had a question, or many questions on my Q&A about what I think about therapy, and I think I have a very unpopular opinion about this. First of all, therapy should not be stigmatized. Therapy does not mean that you have trauma or a problem or a situation that you need to deal with in the past. Not necessarily. Actually, for me, when I first got in touch with someone, with a professional that is also like working with a lot of business professionals, helping them go through the business world of it all, she asked me what was like if I had something that I need to deal with, and I was like, to be honest, no. We are just working on me understanding better things that I feel and calling things the right names and understanding my position and my personality a little bit better in relationship with other people, and why I've had certain patterns of behavior of other people in life. Like, I'm gonna open up now a lot. Okay, so in my life, it happened to me a lot that there's the love of my life coming. Come in, love of my life, come. Oh, I locked up, sorry. I was telling you guys when Philippe interrupted that I've had a lot of times happen to me in my life that, as I'm very strong-minded and quite know what I want, And also, like, I'm like, if you're my friends can vouch because they all follow this. I'm never judging other people. Like, they can do whatever they want because I kind of know who I am, what I stand for, and I know that other people can have different opinions, which was like what I told you guys at the beginning of this. Like, for me, I work in fashion. I have never once, and again, like, my friends are watching this, they can vouch for this, never once said for someone else, like, oh my god, what are they wearing? Because, like, this is my business, this is what I do. But you know, it's like, I don't know, like, I just find it like it's not who I am. It's not like I'm this and I have to like always look impeccable. Like, you guys should see some of my looks when I'm not, you know, like trying to get dressed or whatever, like dressed up, or when I'm lazy. Or like, my sister and I will always laugh because I was already working in fashion when we used to do together like supermarket weekly shops, and I would often like go to shoot something right first, then I would like change quickly, like put Uggs and like something really whatever I had on, like a look that it just doesn't even go with, but I was just shooting it before. And then we would always laugh, like if someone saw me now, they would think like, what is she wearing? But it's okay because I knew that it's fine and that it didn't really bother me, and that, you know, it's, I don't think life or people should be taken so seriously. Like, we all have our better days and better looks and worse days and worse. Look, no one is impeccable, no one is perfect all the time, and if people are, I think it's a huge burden to try and portray an image of that. So the point is that I think anybody can do whatever they want and everybody should do whatever they want. But when because I have like this kind of confidence, I know what I do, I know who I am, and it's quite strongly seen, in my opinion, it can sometimes be very intimidating to other people. It can make them feel like less or weaker, and it did happen to me in the past that people who didn't have such a strong position in themselves and with themselves, they would like, we would start initially as like being friends or friendly, and it just like wouldn't work out because they would like purposely seek an enemy in me, you know, like they would not want to pursue like, or like continue the like friendship or relationship because my personality was very intimidating, right? And I have spoken a little bit about this to like life coach that I have, and even to like a therapist, and they've told me like, yeah, you shouldn't even want to have slightly mentally weaker people than you because, you know, do you really need them? You shouldn't, because I always like blame myself for it, and I always thought like, how can I stop being intimidating, because I don't like it about myself, right? And I don't want to be like that, but I'm very like strong-minded, and I spoke a lot about it to Filippo as well. And you know, it's kind of like a matter of learning to grow into who you are, and that's why for me personally, therapy or life coaching were extremely important and relevant. And maybe for someone else it can help them deal with different things. It can help you deal with like in relation with people, in relation with, you know, understanding yourself better, and understanding how you operate, how you think, in understanding who you're surrounded by, and understanding personality disorders and different people and why different people are the way they are. It's just so incredibly eye-opening. And you know, when you work in an influencer industry, I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of incredible friends in this industry. I have friends who are really truly amazing, like who are just so inspiring, intelligent, hardworking, who every single day I learn something from them, right? And we lift each other up. But then I also encounter a lot of people that are not the nicest. They don't have the same like cultural or family education, they call it in Italy, but it's not education because it's not like formal. It's more like upbringing and manners and culture that your family gives you. Like in my family, like the way my mother was very strict about one thing is that even if you don't like someone, you still should always be civil to them. You don't need to be best friends, but you need to always be civil. We would always joke that even a cow says moo when you enter the barn or whatever it's called where the cows live in English. We have a word in Serbian. Anyway, and to not say anything, like it was very kind of bad manners, right? I'm sure a lot of people have the same. So for me, like when I moved to Paris or when I moved to Milan or whatever I moved, I'd always like greet people, say hi, I always like try to kind of, you know, we don't need to be best friends. We don't need to braid each other's hair. I don't need to like know everything about my first door neighbor, but to say hello and to be friendly, I think is quite crucial. So obviously, like, I work in an industry where I spend like 300 at least 40 days a year working. I know it sounds like a lot, but it is. And going to events and going to fashion weeks where you encounter people that honestly, some of the comments that I've had from people face to face, guys, are not rude, are extremely rude. And the way that people can be, like, their manners, that, like, you know, the way people can act without any explanation, without you even knowing what you deserved, it's awful. And I think that those people, instead of like actually being like that, should have gone to therapy. So now I go to therapy to deal with the things that they haven't dealt with, if that makes sense. But my point is that therapy shouldn't be looked like frowned upon. It's not something that it should be stigmatized. It's a mental hygiene. It's a way of getting to know yourself better. It's a way of getting to process certain thoughts and feelings, certain things that you haven't really processed or that you feel like you need to deal with. I think for that, therapy is brilliant. Life coaching, especially if you are developing a business or businesses, like in my case, if you have your hands in many pots, life coaching is great because it helps you raise yourself above certain things. It helps you stay more focused, eyes on the prize. And I'm personally very, very, very pleased because I got to know myself so much better through therapy and through life coaching. So despite the fact that I have never really suffered mentally, but I think the reason why I haven't suffered mentally is because my whole childhood I've been through a survival mode or fight and flight, a lot of survival mode in my childhood, which now made me a very good problem solver. And I mean, we can discuss this on another occasion, but I've really been through survival mode, on constant survival mode through my childhood, which helped me now with my confidence, with my problem solving skills. And I think that that's something that I understood through therapy. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on this topic that you guys asked me a lot about. You see, there was a question that I got so much at Fashion Week, and it was about influencers who are being rude when followers approach them and what I think about it. And honestly, like, I cannot even imagine that happening because I have never actually seen it happen. I'm trying to think. Last night I met a follower in Place de Lys and like we had such a lovely chat and she told me she just watched the new video and it was just so nice. Like honestly, Carolina, if you're watching this, I'm sending you some highs. Like I always like meet people who follow my channels and it's the best part of this job. And would I ever say, like, honestly, like last week I was running late to an appointment when I ran into a follower and I really wanted to stop by and chat, but I didn't have that much time, so I just stopped for a few minutes and like we took a picture and so on, of course. But sometimes there can be days that it's harder. Like, let me tell you a fun story. When Filippo and I entered our apartment to find out that we're robbed, right? Filippo told me we should leave because we don't know if they're still in the apartment, right? Until the police comes. And we already understood that we lost everything. But the apartment was quite big, so I didn't check every room or under the bed or whatever, you know what I mean? If they're still in the flat, I was like, I have no intention of any kind of encounters. So we left outside and we were standing outside of the building when 3 beautiful girls came and they were like, oh my god, if you guys are watching this video, you know who you are. And now you will know my side of the story as well. These 3 girls came to me. I just understood like 5 minutes ago that I got robbed, and these 3 girls were like, oh my god, Tamara, we follow you, we love you. And I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. And they asked me for pictures. We stood and we took pictures. They posted the pictures. I think one of the girls was like Miss Romania or something like that. A beautiful, 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 stunning, gorgeous girl. Anyway, later I saw it on Instagram, like next day. And at that moment, what was going through my head was, it was like mashed potatoes. But one of the girls told me like, oh my god, you have such a wonderful Birkin collections, like your Hermes bags are so beautiful. I really, like, I had the Hermes appointment today, or like I didn't get an Hermes appointment today, it was in Paris, right? And she's like, oh my god, they never sell me stuff, blah blah blah. And I just thought in my head, I don't have any Hermes bags left except one that I was wearing. I just got robbed. But obviously I didn't say that, right? So I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. We took pictures, I chatted with them, I smiled, and they left. And Filippo told me, he was like, I am shocked that that's how you reacted, because of what you've just been through. You had absolute right to say, guys, you know what, now is not the moment. I don't want to take pictures. I don't want to speak to anybody. I'm just going through something. It is okay to say that, right? But I feel that when it comes to you guys, to my followers, you first of all are like my friends and my family, and I feel like this community is so precious to me and so important to me that I would never ever risk it in any way. Like, when I see you guys, you make me happy. You make me feel surely, of course it happened, that I'm having an awful day or I'm running late somewhere and someone stops me and wants to talk forever, and I'm like, I'm running late and I don't really have that much time to talk now, but I don't want to be rude, because you guys are, this is the opportunity we get to meet each other, and for me it's very precious. So my point of view is, when it comes to influencers who are rude to their community, I cannot understand it in no matter what situation and circumstance, unless it's like they're fighting with their boyfriend and they're crying and someone is pulling them and saying like, hey, I want to take a picture. I've had a situation, very few, very rare, because my audience is the most incredible audience, but very rarely I had a situation when someone's being very pushy, like sitting with my best friend having lunch and someone actually pulls a chair out and sits there and is like, hey, I want to chat with you guys, and I'm like, my friend is just telling me about a new boy, and you know, it's not the right moment because I also need to be there for her. Or, you know, I've had some situations where it's quite strange approach, but so rare. And even in those situations, I'd always aim to be nice, because there's nothing else that you guys deserve but my 100% undivided attention, kindness and love, because that's what you guys give me. So that is my thought on meeting influencers and them not being equally nice. I find it strange. So like I said, it can happen that someone appears arrogant or rude because they're like running late, they're in a rush, they're having a problem, they're dealing, like this morning I discovered, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say it, but I discovered a suspicious activity on my card, and I called the bank, right? Because I was like, I have not spend, like, it wasn't like a lot of money, it was like 250 euros on my card, but I was like, I just woke up, I'm having breakfast at my hotel. I was like, this is strange, and I called to my bank and I was stressed, because in that situation you feel stressed naturally, and if someone approached me or saw me on the side, I would look very stressed and I would look unfriendly and I would look rude, you know, because I'm like on the phone and I'm trying to understand what's going on, and then there's pressure and stress, and I'm not thinking about what kind of public image I'm portraying. I'm literally like trying to understand what's going on, because that's my priority at that moment. But if someone was to approach me, I would still be like equally nice. It's just that if you look at me on the side, I can seem like a right awful beep. That's it. That's what I have to say about that. I think I'm gonna leave my unpopular opinions here, because I think I shared quite a few, even if topics were very, like, not many, but I think there's enough for us to chat about. I would like to know if you guys have any unpopular opinions or opinions for me to discuss with. I can do these more often, because it could be quite like an insight in also the world of fashion and, well, his insight in my brain, etc. As you can see, I removed my watch. I got a new watch that many of you also could see on my stories. I got it last week and I'm gonna reveal it in the next video. Very impromptu also reveal. I didn't plan it, but it happened. So, you know, you never know when you're gonna get a new watch when it comes to especially AP. So you're gonna see it in the next video. You're gonna see a lot of exciting things in the next video. So make sure to put your alarms. Sunday night, 8 p.m. I will be revealing my new watch. Very exciting, I think. And that's that. Basically have got my vacation plan. Make sure to tune in on the Instagram stories. And I really appreciate you guys. I love you. You are, this community means so much to me. I hope that I'm gonna see many of you around the places that I'm gonna be at during the summer holidays. That's Saint-Tropez, Antibes, Capri, etc., Monaco. I hope I'll see a lot of you guys, because you guys make me so happy. So definitely do come and say hi, even if I have a resting bee face, because trust me, what's inside is not always what you can see outside, and I apologize for that in advance. But it is what it is. Anyway, love you lots and see you soon. Bye guys.